The first thing you want to check when working with a bench with a pedestal grinder is to make sure that this bench right here is as close as possible to the wheel. If it's not, what can happen is your piece of material, if you're using it, it can flip up out of your hands, get caught on here, and it will get sucked through here really fast. And then you can lose a finger, get cut, it can throw it back out at you. So you want to make sure this is always as close as possible, no more than 1/16 of an inch. So as you can see, this one's not adjusted. So let's go ahead and take a minute here to adjust it. On the other side, you can't see, there's a nut, just like this one, okay? We're gonna loosen that nut up, using a box end wrench. Do not use a crescent wrench for this. Okay, so I'm gonna loosen that nut up, and by doing so, I can now adjust this in and out. I'm gonna bring this in so it's close enough that when I spin the wheel, it doesn't hit it like that, so it stops, but it is close as possible. I don't even need to get out a tape measure and measure it. Once that's as close as possible, then I'm gonna take my wrench again and I will tighten that back up. Make sure it's nice and tight, because the last thing you want is for that to swing in while you're using it as a grinder. Okay, so now it's as close as possible. Our materials can no longer get caught in that edge. Okay, I can't get it through there. That's exactly the way you want it. Okay. Now to turn this one on and off is straightforward. You got a stop and a start button here. When you are working with your materials, you always want to make sure that your material is large enough to hold in your hand. You don't want to end up with a piece like this that you're trying to grind. This is way too small. This is a good sized piece of material. You can probably get away with this. This is too small. It'll get sucked out of your hands and get thrown right back at you. Okay? When you come into this machine, you want to come in straight at it. That's what the bench is for. You can work on the flat edge here. If you've got something on like this side here that you want to grind off and you're not getting it flat, you can turn it over, but you want the material to aim up at all time. Don't aim the material down and grind this way, as once again, this is how it gets sucked into the machine. So you want to aim it up, and you want to use very light pressure. You're just barely pressing on it. Don't press on it really hard, because then it gets caught and it will throw it down at you. Okay, which brings me to another safety point, which is always stand off to the side of the machine, never directly in line with it. So when this piece of material gets thrown off, it's going to miss you. You get standing right here, you can see what's going to happen, and this is not good. All right, so I'm going to go turn this on and show you a little bit of grinding. Always let it come up to full speed. If you try to start too early, it actually damages the machine. So let it come up to full speed before you start grinding. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little, I'm going to take this edge right here and I'm going to smooth this out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to keep my hands away from it. And you'll also notice that I'm not wearing gloves. Okay, you really don't want to have anything that can be caught in this machine. So gloves are a no-no when working with your grinder. Okay, just going to press lightly, never press too hard. Okay. Okay, so we've got it flat now on this side, but by doing so I've also created a little bit of a raised lip on this side. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to reapply it this way, okay, and putting light pressure on it, give it one of those, and now it's perfectly smooth on the back side. Once again, never come in at it this way, as it'll get stuck in the machine. Okay, turn it off. This machine takes a long time to stop. So you want to make sure that when you're walking away or you're coming up to this machine, always know that it can be working. So, and it's very quiet when it's running. So it's possible that it's running and you don't know it. So just be very careful around it. So once again, straight in or with your material aiming up. Okay, so some of the other safety rules you want to be sure to follow. Always wear your face shield. Never wear gloves while you're grinding, because the gloves can get sucked in. Oh yeah, the demonstration. Watch this. So, people think, oh, you can't get anything caught in there, and if it does, it's not going to pull you in as fast as you think it will, and you're wearing, say, a sweatshirt with long sleeves. So I've got this red rag here as kind of a demonstration of what can happen, okay? So you're working along, and this gets sucked on the side somehow, and gets pulled in there. And just like that, it'll pull your hand in there. And unfortunately for you, the sweatshirt won't come apart like that. It'll pull you right in. So keep all sweatshirts. If you've got a sweatshirt with the pull string on it, make sure those are tucked inside. If you've got long hair, make sure it's pulled back into a ponytail or it's pulled back into a hat, so that it's no possibility that that can get sucked up inside there. Spent